Hello there, welcome to Tech. In this session, we are going to discuss about basics of fire. After the end of this lecture, you would be able to understand what is fire, what is the concept of fire tetrahedron, then about characteristics of fire, then potential fire hazards, after that fire prevention and safety precaution. So let's start. Now we are going to learn about what is fire. Fire is the visible effect of the process of combustion. Here combustion means what? Combustion is a chemical process in which what happens? A substance reacts rapidly with oxygen and gives off heat. Next, it occurs between oxygen in the air and some sort of fuel. As we know that for fire we need a constant source of fuel, oxygen and heat. If one of these is taken from a fire, it will go out. In simple language, you can say that combustion or burning in which substances combine chemically with oxygen from the air and typically give out bright light, heat and smoke, that is defined as fire. Now, in fire only, we have next topic, oxidation versus fire. So in this topic, many students have doubt that how to differentiate oxidation and fire. So simply, if I talk about oxidation, so oxidation is a common process and it takes place when oxygen is added to the compound. But if I talk about fire, so we know that fire is combustion or burning and it takes place when the compound is burned in the presence of oxygen. The main difference between fire and oxidation process is speed. This is the main difference. Fire is the process of very rapid oxidation, but if I talk about oxidation, so oxidation is the process happen very slowly. So these are the main difference between oxidation and fire. Hope all of you understand about this oxidation versus fire. Now we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic, fire tetrahedron. Here you get one term, tetrahedron. Tetrahedron, also known as a triangular pyramid, it has four triangular faces, six straight edges and four vertex corners. That is why this is called as a tetrahedron. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of fire tetrahedron? So the purpose of the fire tetrahedron is to provide a simple explanation of how fire works and how to extinguish fire in an emergency. As we know that fire is a chain reaction. For combustion to continue, there must be a constant source of fuel, oxygen and heat. Means if you want to continue combustion, so we have to provide constant source of fuel, oxygen and heat. Suppose if one of these is not present, so the fire cannot start. So you can say how to describe the fire tetrahedron in simple language. The chemical chain reaction between fuel, heat and oxygen represent fourth component of fire equation, which is termed as tetrahedron. Now we are going to discuss about the three parameters of fire, that is fuel, heat and oxygen. So we see one by one. First of all, we discuss about fuel. To start and maintain a fire, you need the right kind of fuel. So in image, see here, wood is given. So wood is one type of solid combustible material. When you give it heat to wood, what happen? It starts burning. Okay. So this is a one type of fuel. Then we have a gasoline. While burning, the energy stored in fuel combusts and releases heat light and other form of radiation energy. Fuel is everywhere, but it requires oxygen and heat to burn. Anything that will burn, either it is a wood or plastic or any solid combustible material or any electrical equipments or wires, anything that will burn, it acts as a fuel. For example, paper, wood, cardboard, plastic, etc. Then we have a fabric, electrical equipments or wires, flammable liquids, cleaning materials, gases and fumes. Next is heat. So what is heat? All of you know that heat is a form of energy which can be transferred from high body temperature to low body temperature. So in case of fire, to initially start a fire, it is necessary to apply heat to the fuel in the form of a flame or spark. Continued heat is then needed to keep the fuel at its ignition temperature and therefore keep the fire going. This heat is usually supplied by the fire itself. If too much heat is removed, the fire tetrahedron model breaks and the fire will become extinguished. Next is our oxygen. So oxygen is an invisible gas in the air that fire consumes as part of burning process. Otherwise, the fire will go out due to its removal from the fire tetrahedron models. So this is about the three parameters of fire. Now in fire tetrahedron only, our next concept is sustaining chemical reaction. So what do you understand by sustaining chemical reaction? It is written here. If the fuel and oxygen are heated, on that time what happen? The molecular activity of that fuel and oxygen increases. If sufficiently heated, a self-sustaining chemical chain reaction, or you can say molecular activity, occurs between the fuel and oxygen. This will continue the heating process and the resulting chain reaction will rapidly increases without the need of external ignition source. As we know that once ignition has occurred, it will continue until all the available fuel has been consumed or either the temperature has been reduced sufficiently. So this is all about sustaining chemical reaction. Now we are going to discuss about characteristics of fire. In order to protect yourself from fire, it is important to understand the basic characteristics of fire. A fire has many characteristics and some of them are listed here. First is a fire can occur at any time. The reason is that whenever combustible fuel in the presence of oxygen at an extremely high temperature becomes gas, on that time fire occurs. Second is short circuit is one of the leading causes of fire. So how this circuit occurs? First of all, an electrical short circuit causes the overload current. This amount of current causes high heat. Then this high heat increases the temperature of surrounding materials until the temperature reach to the ignition temperature. The combustion will occur on that time. Now, in just 2 minutes, a residence can be engulfed in flame. As we know that less than 30 seconds, a small flame can turn into a major fire. So it only take minutes for thick black smoke to fill a house and engulf in flames. Now the fourth point is the water is the best medium to fight fire except electrical and oil fire. Yes, because if you are using water on an electrical fire, what happen on that time? Could cause an electric shock. Okay, and when you are using water on oil fire, on that time what happened? The size of the fire increases. So remember, in case of electrical and oil we do not use water, but all other all other classes of fire you can use water because it is the best medium to extinguish fire. Okay, now the fifth point is Most deaths due to fire occur at night when people are sleeping. Yes. So what we have to do to prevent this death at night? So first of all, this we have to, when you are going to sleep, so we have to close your bedroom door properly. Then install smoke alarm devices such as smoke detector, heat detector, so you can aware that there is fire. Okay. Then we have to keep our flammable object away from heat sources and install fire extinguisher to extinguish that fire. Then in if I talk about in case of industry, so we have to clean the chimney. Okay, so these all are the examples to prevent that death at night. Okay, now the next point is fire produces gases that make you drowsy. As we know that when fire occurs, they produces toxic gases. When you breathe, that gas enter in your body and make you drowsy. Now the next is smoke and poisonous gases are the primary killer in fire. So we have to prevent. So what we have to do to prevent this smoke and poisonous gases? So that is why it is mandatory to display a sign of no smoking on a board in public places. Or suppose if you know someone who smoke, remind them safe smoking habits, like tell them that a smoker should never smoke in bed, or never smoke when you are tired. Okay, so all these things we have to do to prevent fire. Now, the 75% of all fire deaths are caused by smoke inhalation, not by fire. Because what happened here when you inhale smoke, so this is very harmful for us, and there are many smoke inhalation symptoms like headache, eye damage, all this problem will be there. Okay, so as per NFPA, 75% of all fire that are caused by smoke inhalation. Now, heat and smoke from fire can be more dangerous than the flame. Yes, because we know that under fire condition, this smoke travel with the speed of 120 to 420 fpm. And when it is running, what happen? People will inhale that smoke, and different type of disease causes, just like shortness of breathing and eye damage and some headache problem will be there. So it is most dangerous than flame. Okay, now pouring water on electrical or oil fire will be dangerous, as we have discussed in our previous slide, that if you use water to extinguish this electrical fire, what happen? They cause electrical shock. Okay, and if you use water in oil fire, on that time what happen? The size of that fire will increases. Okay, so that is why, remember, never use water ex- uh, to extinguish this electrical or oil fire. So this is all about characteristics of fire. Now we are going to discuss about potential fire hazards. So potential hazard means a danger to health or safety which may occur if corrective action is not taken in case of fire. Okay, so that is why the best measure to be adopted for the prevention of a fire are to eliminate potential fire hazards. Some potential fire hazards are listed below. First is electric wiring in poor condition. So when you see in this image, here we have electric wiring in poor condition. Okay, so what happened here? Faulty electrical wiring can cause a short circuit. Okay. So how to prevent from this type of fire? For that, what we have to do? First, we have to do electric wiring in good condition. Okay. Then check all outlets before use. Then check appliances before use. And then reduce electrical uses during storms. In this way, you can protect yourself. Now, the second is overloaded electric system. An electric overload occurs when too much current passes through electric wires. In this condition, what happens? This wire first heat and can melt with the risk of starting a fire. So always do not use overloaded electric system. So third is storage of flammable liquids. So flammable liquid means what? A liquid which can be easily ignited in air at ambient temperature, that called as a flammable liquid. So to avoid this type of fire, so what we have to do, we have to store this flammable liquid properly as per standard. Okay, all the detail is given how to store this flammable liquid, what we have to do. Okay, in this OSHA standard, all the detail is given. Second thing, we have to control all ignition sources. Okay. Now, the fourth point is storage of combustible with insufficient protection. So here, remember, always we have to store combustible material away from heat. Okay. In this way, you can eliminate potential fire hazards. Now, the fifth point is storage of combustible near equipment that generate heat, flame, or spark. So always remember, if you want to eliminate potential fire hazards, so we have to store combustible away from equipment. Okay. Now the sixth point is smoking of cigarettes, cigars, pipes, etc. But sometime what happen here, smoking of cigarette is also caused potential fire hazards. So what we have to do for that? So if you know someone who smokes, so remind them safe smoking habits. Or if you see someone use cigarette, so remind them that first wet them before throwing into a bin. Okay, in this way you can prevent these fire hazards. Now the seventh point is ignition sources such as candles, lighters, match, etc. Okay, so now the last point is 8 point, use of cooking appliances. Sometimes these cooking appliances also caused fire, potential fire hazard. So how to eliminate this type of hazard? So we have to install proper kitchen ventilation system, means with the help of wood we exhaust that odor from the kitchen. Okay, that oily vapor from the kitchen. So in this way you can protect yourself. Okay, so this is all about potential fire hazards. Now let's see what is wrong with the given pictures. Here we have one picture. In this picture, what is wrong? Can you see? Just guess and tell me. See, in this picture what happened? Here we have one cylinder which is laying in a horizontal position. After that, here we have an electrical cord in contact with the cylinder. So we have to eliminate all this. So how to eliminate? First, we have to keep the cylinder in vertical position and then place electrical cord far away from the cylinder. Okay, in this way you can eliminate fire. Let's see what is wrong with the given pictures. See, here we have two images. In first images we have some hoods and cylinder, and in second we have a acetylene cylinder, and here we have a oxygen cylinder. So can you tell me what is wrong with the given pictures? Can you guess? Just think and tell me. Now see, in this first picture what happened? Here we have combustible material and cylinder. This combustible material store with cylinder. So our target is what? We have to keep this solid combustible material away from the cylinder. So you can eliminate fire hazard in this way. Next, when you see in this picture, here we have a acetylene and oxygen stored too close together and no change. So here we have to place this oxygen cylinder away from this acetylene cylinder. Okay. Now when you see this image, here what happened? We have electrical arc damage. So what we have to do? Cylinder, your cylinder is damaged, should be taken out of service immediately so you can prevent the fire hazard. Otherwise, it is dangerous for us. Now, here also we have one image. You can see this image. Here we have a regulator left pressurized after use. So we have to eliminate all these parameters. Now come to our next image. Here we have two cylinder. When you see here we have evidence of smoking next to acetylene cylinder. So always remember we have to we have to place all this evidence of smoking near this acetylene cylinder, otherwise fire occurs. Okay, so we have to eliminate all these things. So this is about our potential fire hazards. Fire prevention and safety factor. As we know that a fire can occur at any time, therefore various measures are to be adopted in advance to prevent a fire in your building. So for that, first we have to prohibit smoking in storage area of flammable material. So that is why it is mandatory to display a sign of no smoking on a board or in public places. If you know someone who smokes, remind them safe smoking habits. And if you see someone using cigarettes, so remind them that first wet them before throwing into a bin. Okay. Now the second is if electrical equipment is not working properly or if it gives off an unusual odor, disconnect the equipment. Okay, because this electrical hazard are the main causes of fire. Okay, so we always do not overload electrical equipment or circuit, and try to avoid using extension cord and use anti-static equipment. So always use anti-static equipment where required as per NFPA. Okay, in this way you can prevent fire. Then when using extension cords, protect them from damage. So how we can protect this extension cord from damage? So for that we have to keep these extension cords from sharp edges or objects. When running through a sharp edge, you can protect your cord by placing a protective covering such as a plastic tube, etc. Okay. Now keep all heat producing appliances away from the wall and away from anything that might burn and spread fire. Now the next is leave plenty of space for air to circulate around equipment that normally gives off heat. So here we have to maximize the contact between air and equipment. In this way you can prevent from fire. Now make sure all appliances in your area such as hot plates, ovens, toaster, mixer, grinders, geyser, clothing irons are turned off when not in use. Now ensure cooking food is always attended. So what safety precaution we have to take for while preparing cooking food? So for that remember here, keep your cooking area clean and free of combustible materials. Be sure to clean up and spill or splatter grease. Then keep a fire extinguisher readily available. Okay, so in this way you can make safety precaution for cooking food. Now ensure employees are aware of their responsibility to report danger. So that is why we have to install here proper fire extinguisher. Generally in kitchen we are using wet chemical type of fire extinguisher. So these are all about fire prevention and safety precaution. So hope all of you understand about all these things. Building. So now we have covered the topic what is fire, about fire tetrahedron and the characteristic of fire, fire potential fire hazards, then fire prevention and safety precaution. Okay, so this was all about basics of fire. I hope you enjoy the session. See you again in next one.